The good news is the Senate's close to moving forward with legislation to repeal and replace Obamacare as we speak. The bill was drafted by a few friends of mine, Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator of South Carolina, and Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. And President Trump and I firmly believe that the Graham-Cassidy bill is the right bill at the right time to repeal and replace Obamacare. Graham-Cassidy rolls back the individual and employer mandates so Hoosiers are no longer forced to buy health insurance or pay a fine to the government. Graham-Cassidy contains the largest ever expansion of health savings accounts so Americans buy the coverage they need at the price they can afford. It allows families to keep their kids on their plan until they turn 26, and Graham-Cassidy ensures that people with pre-existing conditions have access to the coverage and the care they need. No exceptions. And finally, Graham-Cassidy will give states like Indiana unprecedented freedom and flexibility to craft our own solutions for health insurance and to reform Medicaid for the most vulnerable, to bring better coverage, better care, and better outcomes for the people of this state and every state in America. In fact, when Graham-Cassidy becomes law, Governor Holcomb will be able to finish what we started with the Healthy Indiana Plan. You all know the story here at home. 2 years ago, Indiana adopted the most significant reform to traditional Medicaid in 50 years. Not with mandates and more taxes, but with personal responsibility and innovative care for our most vulnerable. And thanks to Governor Holcomb's continued leadership, today the Healthy Indiana Plan covers more than 400,000 Hoosiers with Medicaid coverage that gives them greater ownership over their own health care choices. In many cases, for the first time ever, we see some of our most vulnerable Hoosiers able to choose their own doctor, move their care from emergency rooms to primary care, and be rewarded for improving their lives through wellness choices. The Healthy Indiana Plan is kind of the gold standard for Medicaid reform in the country, and it's improving the health of nearly 500,000 Hoosiers as we speak. And I believe every Hoosier should be proud that on health care reform, the Healthy Indiana Plan is leading the way in America. And the great news is Graham-Cassidy will actually give Indiana and every state more freedom and flexibility than we had when we crafted our reforms, to enact more common sense measures to provide more affordable coverage and build the best possible health insurance system, not just with Medicaid, but for every Hoosier who buys health insurance on the private market as well. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you who've supported the efforts to start over on health care reform in America. And I want to thank Governor Holcomb, who just joined 14 governors across America to say that we need Graham-Cassidy, and we need it now. Thank you, Governor. Now, I got to tell you, the vote could come as early as next week, and this is not going to be easy. Even now, the opposition is forming up, and some have gone so far as to announce their opposition already. But President Trump and I are undeterred. We cannot, in good conscience, abandon this cause. The American people are hurting. As President Trump has made clear, inaction is not an option. Now, let me be clear. A vote against Graham-Cassidy is a vote to save Obamacare. The Republican majority in Congress, in particular, was not elected to save Obamacare. They were elected to repeal and replace it, and it's time for every member of the Republican majority to keep their word to the American people. But we're asking all the members of that majority, and we're asking all the members of the United States Senate, give Graham-Cassidy a fair look. Vote to repeal and replace Obamacare and give our country a health care system based on personal responsibility, free market competition, and state-based reform. That's the American way to give the American people access to world-class health care in the 21st century. Now, and once we repeal and replace Obamacare with the strong leadership of President Trump and working with the great Indiana leaders that are gathered here, we're going to cut taxes across the board for working families, small businesses, and family farms.